Welcome back to another episode where myself, Richie Bra, and Daniella Del Carpio, we join together and we do a joint podcast. Now, this has been happening for a number of weeks now. So thank you for those of you that have been following us on our duet podcast journey. We both obviously film or record podcasts individually, but we've also almost like a girl power, in a girl power way, we've decided to kind of link up, and it's just so nice to be able to have these conversations with someone who is so similar, although we are worlds apart. And just to remind you guys, I'm over in the UK and Daniella is in New Zealand. So literally worlds apart, but we still make it happen. Daniella, hello and good morning to you.
Hello, good night to you. How's your day been?
Yeah, my day's been good, actually. Really good. Saw a couple of clients first thing this morning. I've been sort of communicating with, I've got a free challenge that's been running at the moment. So communicating with the women in there. And then also just being that, constant support for my own clients, my girl boss clients throughout the day. Trained earlier as well, again doing lots of admin and stuff like that, and then obviously preparing to get on this call with you for tonight, and then hopefully having an early night. And you?
Well, my day has only just started.
Yep.
It's 9 a.m. here, so yeah, I went to the gym this morning, trained some shoulders, which was really good, and then rush home. I don't know why I always take ready. I mean, I take so long to get ready, so I'm good at workout, finish my workout, and then I ate something, had breakfast. But when I have to get ready, it takes me forever. So that's something I need to improve. But yeah, and now here talking to you, and we're gonna be talking about something very interesting.
I think
and
so.
I think something, that you guys are really, really gonna enjoy. So tell us, Richu, what are we gonna be talking about?
So we were having a discussion actually just previous to recording this actually, and actually just before I say that, Daniella, I trained some shoulders today as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. I was definitely thinking of your delts while I was like pressing. So today's topic, it's interesting because obviously, just for those of you that are catching us today, it's the 13th of December for me, and Daniela, she's talking from the future. 14th. It's the 14th of December. We're coming up closer towards the big C. Christmas Day is like 10 days away, or well, maybe 12 days for me and 11 for you. Exactly. So it's coming up, and I know that right now there's so many other life things that are happening and you get very busy. I've been talking to people today and everything seems to be about Christmas shopping, tying up last bits with work. A lot of people actually finish work before Christmas, so they're getting ready to finish up for the holidays. And then obviously after that, we get this time period between Christmas and New Year's where it's like nothing. And that's a big thing here, where nobody knows what day of the week it is. They're not sure, they can't tell their head from their tail. And they're probably feeling quite anxious or even guilty, anxious about the future, and maybe guilty for how they've reacted over the last few days and over the celebrations, which I think is really unfair when people do that to themselves.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I can feel the same, like with people around me, my clients, especially people that I know, my friends, my family. It's that time of the year that we're thinking about Christmas presents and what are we going to eat? What's going to happen? But I think we're just feeling so anxious about what's coming that we get ourselves too overwhelmed. We think too much. We worry too much. And that is stress that you have because you're already stressing about like, how much am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? I'm going to put on so much weight. I'm going to stop training. Like, you're already trying to stress about something that hasn't even happened. That's why it's stress, because we're thinking about the future. And that period in between Christmas and New Year's, like you said, like it's very crazy because like no one knows what they're doing. I mean, no one knows what day of the week it is because everyone goes into that holiday mode mindset. So you like just relax, chilling, doing your own thing. You don't want to worry about anything. You don't want to think about work. You don't think about training. You don't want to think about what you're eating. You don't want to be mindful with your food because you're like, I'm on a holiday mode. I'm just gonna enjoy, relax, do whatever I want. Next year, 2024, it's gonna be my year. I'll get back on track with everything. I think that's the mindset that most people have.
Will you agree
with that?
Yeah. I definitely do agree with you. And I think they kind of think, they can sort of like close their eyes and eat everything and they'll just fix it later. But I think where people go wrong is that obviously what you and I do is try and help people change their mindset around this period and around how they view life events over the course of the year calendar. There's always things coming up, and it's all we want to keep reminding you guys, and that, you know, that are listening to us here, is that it's not just for Christmas. It's something that we should be thinking about throughout the year, and also changing our mindset and how we choose celebration events, and how we manage them as well, and treating ourselves with kindness, enjoying yourself, but not thinking, okay, I'm gonna like just go wild because nobody's watching me. January is when I'm gonna start, and I'll just do whatever I want and fix it later. But you tell me, there is more harm done with that mindset, rather than thinking, you know, let me take a really good moderate approach to this, and enjoy myself, and just understand the emotions that I'm feeling during this period, enjoying it with family, not thinking so heavily or being so food orientated. Because I think when you go for that all or nothing mindset, do you really want to eat 4 boxes of chocolate? Like, seriously, do you really need to, even like with your friends and family, do you need to gift buy for each other in a way that is so splurgy as well? And everything's just about all the food. Well, you should be enjoying all the food throughout the year, right?
Yeah, I think it's because it's something that we're so used to. We always, like, when we think about Christmas, I don't know about you, for me, the first thing that comes to my mind is like all the meals that my family are gonna cook, like all the table is gonna be full of food. And I think that's why people get so excited, and they go into that mindset of all or nothing. And they feel like, you know, it's Christmas, I know I'm gonna put on so much weight, this is gonna happen. But like you said, like, we need to learn to be mindful, because it's just another month. Yes, it's Christmas, but it's just like any other month. Celebrations like any other month. And I think something that people don't understand is that you can be mindful and you can still enjoy your Christmas. Like, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go from 0 to 100. And I think we're talking to you guys about this because we have experience prepping for a show while on Christmas time. And as you can imagine, when you prep for a bodybuilding show, that's extremely challenging, extremely tough. And just imagine trying to prep for a show during that Christmas period, which, you know, it's the time that you eat everything. But it just to remind you guys that, you know, no one can force you to do the things that you don't want to do. And what happens to you, it's because of the decisions and the choices that you make. So why don't you tell us, Richu, a little bit more about your bodybuilding experience while prepping during this time of the year?
Yeah, okay, of course. So for me, Daniella, actually the first time, so I've only ever competed twice. I had more shows booked in, but I had actually decided not to do them. As I was coming, I think what happened to me was the last show that I had 2 others booked immediately after that. And I think then I was going to go for like an off season, and then I wanted to come back in 2020. We know what happened, lockdown, etc. And you know what, life changes as well. So I've come away from that as well. Here in my life right now, I'm definitely looking to serve others rather than being so heavily focused on my goal. And the reason why that we come to bodybuilding prep is because it's very similar in some ways. It's an extreme, but it's very similar in terms of being on a fat loss, toning, or weight loss journey. And for some reason, both my shows that I've done were March, April time, and most bodybuilding preps or bikini comp preps or whatever you want to call them, they are usually done, you know, on a 12 to 16 and may even a 20-week prep. Yeah. So I think I may have done about a 16-week prep on both of these. And it just so happened that the start of prep actually landed around Christmas week. So I was in like a surplus because I was building, and then I was going into my cut or my sort of very strategic, lengthy process of losing the body fat whilst maintaining my muscle mass. And so you notice that I say 16 weeks here, or even 12 weeks for some people, but I chose, and I actually had a coach during this period as well. And we've decided on the 16 week prep because it just seemed so much more manageable and sustainable as well, to kind of go through that sort of very strategic process, rather than, and we see it all the time, Danielle, and I won't completely finish my story here, but I'll let you break in and we'll talk about this and discuss this together. But quite often with clients, am I right in saying they think that something needs to happen within a month, within 3 weeks, within a month, within 8 weeks, and they're not happy? You tell me, did you get the results that you desired, already being in quite good shape and having to push that further? Did you get it in a couple of weeks, or was it, again, a very strategic, long process?
It was a very, very, very long process. I think for me, like when we were talking when I was talking to my coach, my prep was very long, because we were counting not just the time that I was in the caloric deficit, cutting to look really defined, but also when I was trying to gain muscle mass, because I was very skinny. So it was a very long prep, because it was a transition from, okay, we first need to focus on gaining muscle mass. And with bodybuilding, you need to take that serious. It's not like I'm gonna gain muscle mass, I'm gonna eat whatever, yay, more calories. It's not like that. Even when you're in a caloric surplus, you have to still be mindful with the things that you're eating. You have to fuel your body with the right nutrients, with the right foods, to help you with your training, to help you push better, to help you with your energy levels. So it was a very, very long prep. After 8 weeks, I didn't see the results that I wanted to see. And I knew that, because I knew from day one, like, this is gonna take time. Like, my coach tells me we're gonna be doing this for about 20 weeks, which is a very long time, obviously, but that's counting, everything. And I just knew, like, if I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be a long journey. This is not gonna be done in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. And that's the mindset that most of my clients have when they join my program, or people that I know. They expect, like you say, those changes after just a few weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks. They expect to have that body that they want. They expect to have the physique that they want. If they don't, they get disappointed, and then they change something, or they quit, or they stop doing that. But 8 weeks is nothing. 8 weeks is literally nothing. Even as bodybuilders, 8 weeks, you don't see much changes. You only see the changes like the last few weeks of your prep. That's when you see the real change. And that can be extremely frustrating, because when you're prepping, you're constantly thinking about, like, how is my body going to look on stage? How am I going to look on the show day? And even 2 weeks before show day, your body doesn't look stage ready just yet, even if you have been prepping for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So it's just a reminder, once again, like, it takes a long time to see that progress. It doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly. We need time to build, and again, to hold on to that muscle as well. So no, I like that you shared that you had a 20-week prep. I think that's really important for people to remember. And to be fair, although my cut was 16 weeks, we were definitely preparing prior to that as well, in terms of the building phase. We are going back a few years for myself. So again, I wouldn't be able to tell you how long it was, but I know that, again, when you are building, you have to be quite comfortable. You have to get comfortable with actually allowing yourself to see a bit of body fat, because that is not natural. And as women, we're not just going to stay like from our lean physique suddenly just go pow with muscles and that's how we're growing. It won't happen like that. Is so minimal, and if you were to actually weigh it, it's so minimal, and it sounds so disheartening, but you'll be surprised if, ladies, you have been spending time building muscle, yes, for those of you especially newer to weight training or strength training, you will see that you're building muscle at a faster rate than someone who is actually quite seasoned and who's been doing this for years. Okay. We call it beginner gains. So just coming back to that, even if you are in a calorie deficit, you can definitely build, right, to a certain degree. And again, it's being strategic. And that's one reason why we do things like weight training, strength training for clients. And that's why we program you to build, because we want you to try and hold on to as much lean muscle tissue as possible, so that when you do drop and you shred and you cut and you start dropping weight, that we see this beautiful toned physique. It's not, you're not going to end up like a twig. You certainly won't look like what we did, although we probably look amazing in stage photos. But I know without the stage photos, you just look so shredded. And I personally, I don't want my clients to aspire to that, but I want you to kind of understand the journey that we took ourselves through. And that's why we're really explaining this, is that it's a journey, and it's not just the end result, and that you will see changes if you just stick at it. You know, it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. And also something else I want to add, like sometimes people, like when they have this goal of, I want to get a six pack, or I want to be, you know, body fat down to 10%, 9%, 11%, whatever your number is. Once I get those results, I'm going to be so happy. Trust me, you won't. You won't be happy. Once you drop down to that body fat, 12%, which is for women, like the most healthy one. Once you drop down to that 12% of body fat, you're going to feel so depleted. You're going to feel so hungry. You're going to feel so tired. You're not going to be happy at all. You're going to be proud of your progress, yes, because you worked really hard to get to that day. But you want to get out of that body ASAP. At least I did for me, because I didn't like the way I was looking. Like I was looking way too skinny. Yes, I had the six pack. Yes, I was looking more toned. Yes, I was looking more defined. Amazing. But I looked at myself in my mirror. I look at myself in the mirror and I was like, wow, I look so skinny. Like, who is this person? You honestly feel so lean. Like you feel so fragile. You feel so weak. You feel like, oh my gosh, your energy levels, you don't even have the energy to get up, go for a walk, go to the bathroom, get changed, do the things that you would normally do, just because you're so drained and you don't want to do anything. You're so grumpy. I think it can really affect your relationships, because you get I got so like grumpy all the time. Like any little thing that you will tell me or that you will do, I'm like, shut up, like don't say that to me, like go away, like leave me alone. And it's because like you're so depleted, you're so upset. You're so depleted. So don't wait for that to happen to be happy, because trust me, you won't be happy. I'm telling you from experience, and I think Rich can agree, you won't be happy. You're gonna be happy the day that you decide to be happy. You're gonna be happy the day that you feel more comfortable in your own skin, the day that you feel more proud of yourself, proud of the work that you're doing. That's gonna be the time that you're gonna feel happy. And don't wait 20 weeks for that to happen. Make it happen right now. Like there's no one holding you back. The only person holding you back right now is just your mindset and yourself, obviously. Nothing else. No one else. But how did you feel like on show day? Like, did you like the way that your body looked? Did you like the way you feel?
Gosh, I think I chose, oh God, I think the first time, you know, I've got a funny experience for the first time. We did the water load, cut water, have an alcoholic drink. And I'm telling you, I did not agree with that. It was, I mean, it was horrendous. I remember I stayed the night at the hotel before the show, and I spent my half my body was lying on the bathroom floor, and the other half in the actual room on the floor. I slept on the floor because I felt so sick. It was terrible. And the next morning I thought, oh my God, this is just going to go awful for me. This is not going to happen. And like, I did have the same coach the second time around. And I just said to her, look, I do not drink. It's not something that I do, but I do believe there are competitors out there that do drink alcohol. And I think they use it almost as like a fun tool. Because the second time I went on for my show, we actually did a very different technique where we did some like we really depleted like 10 days out, and then actually fed me into the show. So I was actually happier. I felt fuller on stage as well. And I know that worked for my body type. And I was just so much more happier. And I was, you know, allowed to drink water. I was allowed to eat. But I didn't have alcohol, and it was great. But I do recall a girl being quite drunk, and backstage it was very frustrating. It was really I don't know what's happened to her now. She went out there and did our tea walk and the rest of it. But when you're standing behind stage to go on, you could be waiting there for ages when they line you up. And she was just talking so much, and I just had to like close my eyes and like just sing. I was singing to myself just to, is this nerve-wracking? It is not, but there's something very exciting about it. It's so interesting actually. And we talked a few weeks back actually, Daniela, about standing on stage, and I've always had this like very much, I feel like the fight or flight kicks in, that adrenaline rush. And I feel like that's something that I've always been really nervous and scared of. But then when it happens, I'm very excited by it. And so we were talking about standing on stage and being able to like present in front of people and stuff like that. And like just looking to the future, that's just going to be so exciting, because I guess we've had that a bit of that taste or that experience so far. Yeah.
I remember. That feeling. A bit of topic, but it's interesting because you get that feeling that you feel so nervous because you're literally, you know, pretty much naked. You're like wearing this little tiny bikini, and you know people are looking at you because of your physique. You know that you're in front of hundred of people, and it's you have your heart is racing, you feel sweaty, you feel like your face is going red. You're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But then once you go into the stage and then you do your thing, you feel more relaxed because you know that you have been practicing for this for so long. Obviously not my first show. My first show I was like, ugh. But the second one, it was a little bit better because you're like, I've done this before, like I already have the experience. You go there, you've been practicing for so long, like you're posing, you walk, everything, walking on those heels, because that's very challenging. But it's like I say, it's a good experience, and I think it's a good taster for us because now that we kind of know what to experience or what to expect, then it's gonna be easier for when that time that we go on stage, which is gonna happen for us. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. And it's gonna be I think it's gonna be exciting, but at the same time challenging, because this time we're gonna be talking. We're not gonna be just walking and, you know, posing. It's gonna be for a longer period of time, because when you do bodybuilding, you're on a stage for like literally 5 minutes, you're on and then you're off. But if you're doing like a public speaking, it's gonna be for like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, maybe 1 hour, who knows. But I think that's gonna be very exciting. That will be very exciting.
The funny thing is, I've actually done a bit of that.
Really? When?
Already. So we are going back a very, very long time ago. So growing up, I used to be really interested in like performing arts and stuff. So I've like danced in shows and stuff. And then I've sang on stage multiple times. One time I sang at this, I don't know what it was, and I started singing. And then I swore and I said, oh my God, I've forgotten the words. And it was hilarious. And someone just said, carry on. And so I just carried on. And it was quite funny. But we are going back years ago, like 20 years ago or something, maybe more or less. I can't remember. But so a very long time ago. But then, so Daniella, I've shared with you, and for those that have listened to my podcast, for example, that I'm a vegan. And like years ago, there used to be like, there still are lots of like pop-up vegan events and stuff like that. And I remember Facebook was like a bigger deal back then as well. And I think I applied to speak at someone else's project or something like that. And I like spoke a few words in front of a room. Okay, fine. And then another time, me and my friend, we did one, I think it was back maybe like 8, 9 years ago. We spoke at like another veg fest, and we went up there and we were talking about vegan bodybuilders and people doing fitness that were vegan, and telling them that they can still build muscle, they can still fuel themselves, they can live a good lifestyle. And we were like presenting, you know, and talking about various different like vegan competitors and stuff. I wasn't a competitor at the time, but my friend was. So that was really interesting. And me and her have talked about this and like giggled about it and gone, oh my God, we really didn't know what we were talking about. Or maybe we did, but there were so many people that came in. We walked into the room at the front of this like auditorium, and we're standing there, and you know, we've got our little clicker, and we're like, oh my God, there's like hundreds of people in here. Wow. It was so scary. But I really hope the next time look, I'm sure I did fine, but it was so long ago. I can't wait for another experience like that again at some point. So again, it's like challenging yourself, right? Challenging yourself to do something different and new each time.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's going to be like the same thing over and over again. That you're not going to have that excitement. You're not going to have that adrenaline rush. You're not going to feel excited for anything. I think pushing yourself and doing something that scares you, it's always always a good thing. And that's something as coaches, we try to do all the time, because it's not fair for us to be like, you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone, and then we don't do anything. I feel like if we teach you guys something, if we tell you something, it's because we're doing it, or we've done it, or we tried. But I feel like we will never tell you something that we're not doing, because one, that wouldn't be fair. Two, it just wouldn't feel right. And three, yeah, I feel like we wouldn't be good coaches if we do that thing. But let's go back to the topic of Christmas and
Yes.
being mindful. And I think the whole reason why we started with the bodybuilding topic, it's because we were both prepping during Christmas time. So we had to be very, very, very mindful and strict with what we were eating. Yes, I don't know about you, but I enjoy Christmas Day and the day after a little bit. But then before that and after that, it was back on track 100%. Like, we had no time to play around. We had no time to waste. And it's because I really wanted to achieve that goal. And when you put your mind, when you're focused on something, you don't have excuses. You don't make excuses. It's not like, oh, but I know I was so hungry. Oh, my cousin gave me this, I had to eat it. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but you can stay on track on Christmas if you want to. If you want to do it, you can. Like, it's not impossible. We've done it. I've done it. Richie has done it. I know so many people that have done it in the past. So if you feel like, or if you're telling yourself already, like, this is going to be too much, I'm going to be eating too much, it's not. You're just telling yourself that. So that's what's going to happen, because you're already telling yourself that. But trust me, you're going to be fine, and you can enjoy, you can be mindful, and you can still get progress that you want. But that's only your choice.
Exactly.
No one else.
No doubt. And yeah, I mean, there are tactics as well. It's, we can think mindfully about what's in front of us. I see it. Do I want it? Am I hungry? Will I eat it? And knowing when to stop as well. And I think this is the thing, when you are on a prep plan, on a like a fitness plan and a program, I feel like, you've chosen to invest in yourself. You're going to make the most of this. And it's not to say that, oh, Christmas calories don't count. Look, enjoy yourself, but they do. Okay. They do. The energy that we take in on that day. I think if you were to look at some studies that have been done, I'm pretty sure they say that people end up eating 4,000 to 6,000 calories during that Christmas period. And anyone that wakes up on Boxing Day that's like severely bloated, cannot move, brings themselves into like another food coma. And it's not just what we're eating. I think it's also the empty calories, the way that we choose to season our food, the extra oils that we might add into foods that we normally eat. Like, I know it brings the flavor out and it brings the richness out. But again, it's the alcoholic calories, or the types of drink that we choose to drink, like the spectacular cocktails and like the 5 different types of dessert. Like, I really want you to think mindfully about it and go, if this was a normal day, even if it was your birthday, like your birthday is like the best day of the year, would you eat like that? No, right? I think that most people would say no, but for some reason, I know in this country there seems to be a culture of gorging, and it's like everything is out there. It's breakfast, it's this, it's that, and there are ways to counteract this. Still enjoy yourself. Think mindfully about what you're giving to yourself, thinking about the food as like being nourishing, being grateful for your food. At the end of the day, Christmas for a lot of people is still a religious occasion. I know that it's been heavily commercialized right now, but then there's also that whole thing of being grateful for what you have in front of you, even if you are not religious and you don't celebrate Christmas for the religious aspect. I think it's really important to value that time that you have with the people around you, and the fact that you can eat on this day, and look at that food as being like a blessing. You don't want to just like eat everything as if that's it. You want to actually go, do you know what? Like, do we really need to have this much? What we don't like food wastage, by the way, in my family. So it's like, if there are more food, if there's more food made, everyone has to come with Tupperware boxes, and we distribute it out, and you take it home and you got to eat the next day. Like, there's no fresh meal made on Boxing Day. You got to eat the leftovers. Or we have supermarkets that are open. You can get discounted food as well. So it's pretty good. We don't like too much wastage, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's normal in Christmas because we cook so much. Like whatever we make today, that's gonna be for tomorrow and the day after if it's still safe to eat because there's so much food. But like you say, like I think the whole point that we're trying to get across to you guys is like what we say in the past few podcasts, like be mindful with how much or what you're eating. You don't have to go crazy. Like we need to get out of that mindset of it's Christmas time and want to enjoy everything. Like that's not going to help you. One, to feel good. Two, with your goals. Three, you're simply going to be making the same mistake over and over again. Like if you want to do something about it, you need to make that change now. Like you don't need to wait for 2024. You don't need to wait for 2025, anything. You don't need to wait for anything. Just simply make that change. Like enjoy your holiday. Don't stress too much and just be mindful with how much you're eating. Don't go crazy. Don't go from 0 to 100. If you are with your fitness journey, then you need to learn how to eat. It's not about just being told what to eat, but learn how to eat because those are things that eating is something that we do every single day. It's not just Christmas time or it's not just from January to November. It's every single day, every single month. So just be mindful. I think that's the main point. Be mindful.
I wanted to add in, actually, we've talked about this lots before, Daniella, but making exercise movement, I think movement as part of your traditions. I just want to add that in there. We've talked about it lots, but do you guys start the day with a walk ever in your family? Do you do anything to no?
No.
me not everyone in my family does.
Yeah.
My partner doesn't. My partner definitely doesn't. He just loves the extra sleep. But my dad, for example, he's like, yeah, let's get out for a walk. And me and my dad can talk for ages, and that's like our way of connecting. So we'll just like get out and meet up and we'll just go for a really good old power walk. And especially if it's really cold, it just feels so nice. And the town that I live in is so cute, Daniella, and we like live for it in some ways because everybody is out walking and they're like, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Cute.
It's so cute, honestly. It's so cute. So we do love doing that. And and then we might go for a stroll in the evening and stuff, but yeah, that's the main thing. And then like the rest of the week is not a write-off. Most gyms are closed on Christmas Day. I don't think you have to go to a gym on Christmas Day. Like if that's something you enjoy doing, crack on with it. If you actually just want to spend time with your family, like ignore that. But I think it's important to move a little. I think that's
yeah, that's very important. And I feel like you guys watching this or listening to this, you might be thinking like, come on guys, like you already spoke about this the last few podcasts. And yes, we did. And the reason why we're talking about this again, it's because sometimes you need to hear the same thing 5 times before you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And sometimes we need to tell you those things 5 times to remind you that everything's going to be okay. Because even though I've had so many conversations with my clients, with people on Instagram, girls on Instagram asking me like, what should I do? Like I'm feeling so anxious. Even though they know what they should be doing and even though they know that they shouldn't worry too much, they still have that anxiety. They're still feeling very stressed. They're still feeling very overwhelmed with everything. They still have that mindset that I'm going to put on so much weight. So we're going to keep telling you this for the next 2 weeks until Christmas is over because we want to get this point across to you guys and we want to make it very clear that everything is going to be okay. As long, try to stick to your routine as much as you can. You're not going to be 100% and that's fine. We don't want you to be 100%, but just try to stick to your routine as much as you can on the days that you can. If it's impossible for you to stick to your routine, just try your best to do the things that you like, to do the things that you can. There's only so much you can control and there's only so much that is under your control. So just be mindful. I feel like I've been repeating that word 20 times already, but be mindful.
It's important. It's great. Daniella, this has been excellent. And thank you so much for always providing such good value. I definitely always learn something from your voice as well and for your experiences. So definitely. I look forward to next week and I want to carry this on even over the holidays. Are you up for that as well? Or are you taking some time off?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes, I know. Like I was going to talk to you about it because we're going to go away next week. But I was thinking, maybe, because I won't be taking my microphone. But I mean, that's a conversation we can have later and discuss what's going to happen.
I think so. Let's stay tuned, guys. Listen out.
Yeah.
If we make it or not, listen out. But thank you so much for listening to both of us. So this has been Daniella Del Carpio. You can find Daniella on Instagram. Daniella
Del Carpio. Yeah, same thing.
And you can find myself, Richie Bra, on Instagram at Richie Bra at RICHUBRAR. It's almost like I was like, okay, that's my Instagram tag. How am I going to spell it? No, we've got it, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you here next time. Bye.